So, really quick video, at least that's how they begin. You all know little Oro, gold. Ah, look at him. Yeah. Alright, so we all know little Oro. He's just a random little cat that very synchronistically came to me. There was a few sets of occurrences and I now know that I have to keep him. Guess what? The universe is measuring my kindness. How I treat him is what my Andromedan guidance told me. The feminine Andromedan spirit guide lady thing. Interdimensional being. This is what she's like a really close to me, like really helpful and stuff, and they help your higher self. And then you in turn, help your lower self as a body ego construct here in the third dimension. Anyway, I've been told that I'm being measured it was like she whispered it to me, like secret. It's like, hey, don't tell God, but no. So the universe is, I can tell, and it's not like God speaks and all this to you in a voice. If you get that, that's not how it happens. That's the bad aliens when they can speak in English. God is not speaking in English. No, it won't even pass that way. Anyway, so I realized, let's just put it like that. The realization has come and the correlation and so on. I can just tell from certain little events, and then the Andromedan feminine guide of mine also sort of whispered it to me and like affirmed it, confirmed it when I thought so, that was my reaction. So that was me conversing my higher self with the Andromedan presence. Anyway, so what's interesting is that my kindness to this little rat, I love cats when they're small. I call them little rats. They're little bastards. Anyway, my kindness to him, oh, look at him go, is being measured, and that's how the universe is going to treat me, like in donations and everything. So, yeah, I better treat him good, eh? I do. I love little Oro. Look at him. He's too cute. Go, little Oro, go! Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, he's got fleas at the moment, and I've never had a cat. I had a dog when I was younger, a little miniature crossed the big poodles. It's like, I don't know, not even knee height, but he was a cool little dog, and Nicky, and that was the only animal I've ever had. And so now I've, not really even anticipated the fleas coming on. I should have, long grass, spring, but I didn't think about it. Got some itches. But here's my point. I put a few drops on him, and I've got a friend gonna bring the collar for him, so we're gonna have him a collar. I looked into those collars, and Propoxa is very toxic, but so is not being able to sleep. You know what I mean? So it just means even more cleaning. Don't want to, and even more consciousness, because I don't want to put my hand on the collar and then into my mouth, so I have to stay more conscious, yeah? So, it's all for a reason, this little guy. It's like I've had a little kid, a little boy. He's got a real attitude, very smart cats, these Abyssinians. And my point with all this, yes, I knew it would go into a longer video. View time, eh? View time. No, but seriously, I just was introducing all that for the point of context and that. And hey, it's kind of like vlogging a bit. People vlog on YouTube, so I'm vlogging in a way as well. But so we can be more friends and close and all that. You can know me better, and I can hopefully know you better when you comment. So comment if you like. Help me out. But look, my point with all this, and this was all just, really aside from the point. My point is that he's got fleas, okay? And my point of, the point of him having fleas is that I can sense them. You're like, yeah, of course you can sense them. They bite you, and, in South America they have fleas that dig into you here. I did some research. So there's like a big female flea, one type of flea that actually will dig into your skin. So you might not know if you have body lice or scabies or if you have fleas, but I can tell. Isn't this amazing? There was a girl staying here and she was in the cabins and she clearly had scabies one time. And, you know, I don't stay in the cabins or anything, and I keep my stuff clean in my tent so I don't get this sort of thing. And I wash all my, recovered anything for like a week. I hang it out in the sun, so, you know, I'm not going to get it. So I thought, I doubt it's scabies, and plus, you know, animal scabies do not transfer to humans, just like the fleas don't make you a host unless you're a crazy cat lady. But anyway, my point is I can sense it's not scabies, because someone said, are you sure it's not body lice? Because I said, I'm so sick of the itching. No, it just turns out that it takes a couple of days for those drops to work, so the fleas are in their cycle. One time in a house I was staying in Sunshine Coast, this guy I was living with in the next room, he went off to work at the mining, and he had like a little puppy and it got fleas, and me and the other guy in the house almost had to move out because he was gone for 1 month. And in 1 month, when I walked out of my bedroom at the end of the month, you look down and you would see fleas just like jumping on you and attacking you. So I know that their cycle's like 48 hours or something, and they're reproducing like every 2 days or something, isn't it? I didn't check that, but yes, it seems very rapid, every 2 to 3 days. And I mean, I can sense all this. You can sense when they're angry at you, the fleas, when I sprayed. I took some synthetic spray, some cockroach spray, and I sprayed because I didn't know what else to spray, and I thought, well, this stuff kills cockroaches, it should kill the fleas. And I didn't yet have the drops. I thought I'll give this a go. Intoxicated myself a little bit, but yeah, anyway, it was good to have a go, just check it out. It did work for a day or two, but then they came back in force. And this is what I mean, I could sense they were gone. So it wasn't the body lice, it's definitely the fleas, right? And then they came back, but with a vengeance, and they were angry. And this is not the first time I've like laid down with a cat. There was like a few years ago, I was on a guy's couch because he was exactly across the road from the farm we were working on, passion fruit and banana farm, that Tim's farm that you can see in my $30 Bandit Food Plant teaching series. Sweet farm, we had dragon fruit, all kinds of foods there. Best passion fruits I've ever eaten. And we were on that farm, and he had a little cat, and I was on the couch because he was across the road on his farm, his family's farm. And so we just literally walk across the road to work. It was awesome at like 6 a.m. Super stoned. Get up. He was like a bong smoker. I don't smoke bongs, I like joints. But we'd get up, rip a billy, and head off to pick up some passion fruit. And mind you, for like $23 an hour plus free food. So I was not a scummy farmer. I was getting well paid. That was just before I came to Uruguay. That was my last job. And in that occasion, I had the fleas from that cat, but there wasn't many. It was like maybe that female cat controlled them really well. I don't know, but they got out of control here a little bit. And now I've put the drops on. They seem to be like off it. They attacked me last night, but I think like less. And I can feel the energy. This is the point of this whole video. Right here, this sentence, I can hear supersonically. I can hear in these bushes really, really well. My girlfriend told me, she actually said, I think you have supersonic hearing. Because I can hear all these things, like, you know how a cat's really alert and they're listening like 100 meters away? That's what my hearing is like. But I also can have selective deafness. I had that tested as a child. It's not a cognitive dissonance, but almost. It's a selective deafness. I had it tested. I went to the little sound testing where they do reduce the sound, beep, 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 till you can't hear it, right? And my hearing was fine because I could hear the really low, high pitch, the real low sound, the very weak sound, or however you say that. I'm not a musical theory person. So these things, these fleas, they communicate in very, very high pitch. Like I just said, I'm not a musical theory person. I don't study the musical theory intensely. I have a little bit, but I think it's what I'm talking about is pitch. Because, you know, obviously they're communicating on a certain note, like is it C4 note or C1, I don't know, like the heart chakra or, you know, whatever note. I don't know what note it is, but the pitch is very, very high, extremely high pitch. It's in no way audible by your ears. I'm thinking, how the hell am I hearing this then? Well, it's the same answer. It's like this inner supersonic inner silence. We've talked about this before. Other people have talked about this. It's, you know, when you go into meditation and you get that inner silence and you hear the sounds after the sounds, that's what I'm talking about, these inner sounds. That's where they're communicating. That's where bacteria are communicating, and I can also even sense them. Barely, only just. I can sense like one bacterial colony in my body trying to communicate with another bacterial colony. Come off it, Ben, you cannot. No, I can. And I'm 100% sure this is, you know, the difference between us and organic portals. All this inside stuff they can't do. They are the crude surface electrical light. And I'm always talking about this inner luminous, numinous, not phenomenous, photonic outer electric light. So it's this inside stuff that makes us different to these organic portals. Now I can hear in these hyper frequencies. They're supersonic frequencies. And that's what I was just thinking about. Well, I can definitely hear the fleas. I was thinking about it all last night. And then I thought, wait, I can even hear those bacterial colonies. This is something I realized like, I don't know, a couple of months ago. So, you know, that epiphany came back. And I went, oh yeah. So isn't this interesting? But hey, this is, you know, one thing I wanted to say, all the ultraviolet, ultrasounds, like this hyper sounds and all the inner sounds, sounds after the sounds. Organic portals can't sense this, right? So you want another test, another way to detect in your life who is an organic portal, which is of utmost importance because all evolution is spiritual and these are non-spiritual beings. That's why it's the most primavera, absolute, tantamount to your evolution spiritual focus you need to be having. You need to be able to cut and discern who is an organic portal because it means a lot. Almost everything for your evolution, and all evolution is only spiritual, and these are non-spiritual beings. They don't have their own spirit. They don't communicate with spirits, like I just said. The Andromedan presence, you know, my feminine Andromedan guide, my spirit guide, right? All this, they don't communicate with spirit guides and all this, and the spirits. And what am I? I'm a shaman, yeah? Right? What are the shamans doing? Why do I even get stoned? Not just to contact the philosopher's stone, which is the alchemical mind of our earth, but to contact all the spiritual realm, all the spiritual natural stuff. Yeah? All the inside of this, of the world, of creation. It's these higher dimensions. You see, it's not fuzzy-wuzzy, it's not woo-woo, it's just the next. It's just the stuff we don't talk about every day and we don't necessarily think about or map. See, we don't have any maps of hyperspace. You know how to travel across Australia because there's roads on a map, but we don't have roads and maps of hyperspace. But that's what I'm trying to do on this channel, especially and specifically with the video series, for instance. Can an organic portal be woke? Can we wake up organic portals? Well, that series is trying to find any sort of path of ensouling or inspiriting yourself, right? To think for yourself, that's part of a path of ensouling yourself. And all the rest of the stuff, psychedelics, meditation, blah, 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 self-discovery, experience. Not just hearing horizontally someone else or reading and pretending that you know and have the experience. Then it's always much more shallow and much less, right? Self-experience is much richer. I think we all agree. Anyway, so this whole video is about how I can hear the supersonic frequencies of the fleas. Now they're communicating in the like I'll try and do it with my mouth. Hold on. Might take a few practices. I haven't tried. like really high pitches, like, can you hear that? That like squealing noise. I was trying to really tighten my throat and push air through it and create a high pitch, like these really high little pitch frequencies, and this is what I'm hearing. And to hear this stuff is not with your ears, definitely not with the eardrums, because I feel the difference of my speaking in little mouth noises right now. I can feel my eardrums moving, right? The sound waves of the wind and the trees rustling. This is all outer sound. But if we look within the tree, this tree is singing itself. It is singing itself into existence. Benjamin Cowenberg, consciousazine.net, said that. Yeah, that's who said it. So the birds learnt to sing from the trees. But this is, and I said that too. Nobody else said that. That was me. And, so let me recap. We're not talking about the leaves rustling, the outer sound, right? We're talking about the inner sound. These trees, all trees, plants, sing themselves into existence. And you do have people now on, I think, electrocephalograph things. Those hippies out in nature, putting the needles in the trees, and I don't know, I forget how they're measuring it, but they're measuring the music of the trees and everything now on little graphs. Pretty amazing. You got that video series long ago in the 1980s of, what was it, The Secret Life of Plants, and they were talking about how plants react to your emotion. Definitely, if it's done right. And we have modern examples of pure water in 2 containers and plants, and then love intention and hate intention, and it actually makes a difference. And you can actually try this stuff. But some of the scientists around the world, they're organic portals, so they're not going to get how to do this. They're dead. They don't understand. They don't push the frequency. Nothing. There is no frequency coming out of them. That's why, you feel your frequency bounce off them, because they're only the surface. You see how dimensions are real and reality? Our reality is multidimensional. That is reality. But what people refer to as reality is the 3rd dimension and the 2nd dimension conjoined. The physical stuff, right, is the hard edge, and then the 3rd dimension, that's the 2nd dimension, and the 3rd dimension is how this is a zonal reality. This is a tree, that's another tree. I am Ben, you are Matthew or whatever, You are Paul, and there's Luke, and they're different bodies, we're different conglomerates, yeah? We have a zonal boundary, right? You see it? And then there's the backdrops of these zonal boundaries, and you have the aura. And the aura is seemingly emanating outside of my skin. Do you see? So the aura is not a 3rd dimensional zonal construct. It has to be downloaded into the 3rd dimension, and thus, it has an emanatory distance or a 3rd dimensional nature to it. But it's only just here, like the mushrooms are only just here. The mushrooms are only just in and touching physical reality. That's why they also have a stomach brain. They're just like, oh, fuck it, we'll do it both in one. No, but they're barely here. And so, what I wanted to say was that I can feel these fleas communicating when they're angry, when they're tired from me, battening the fleas off of me. I feel their reactions. I can feel the bacterial colonies that I've had to heal in my body from the tooth problems I had over the last few years, because I had to get 2 big teeth removed, the wisdoms. And so this is what organic portals, they cannot do. They're never going to be able to do this until they become aware in that dimension. And I swear that's all it is. It's that in that dimension you become conscious there, and suddenly you're able there. Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I just wanted to say that these, sub-frequencies and so on, this is how the war is being fought. That's why no one's talking about it. Because it's not something you talk about on the surface with, deceitful language. This is something you have to sense. What war? Well, this is what I mean. You have to sense it. And organic portals, they can't sense things. There's no inside looking into things or intelligence. Sensing into it. That's true intelligence. They don't do that. They can't do that. Is there a path to make them be able to do that? Well, that's not this video. That's that video series, Can an Organic Portal Be Woke? We're going to go through all of that stuff. It's probably going to be 10 videos. We're going to try and get towards the soul. What is the soul? And what is a soul? And blah, blah, blah. In a, fully contextual, higher dimensional sense. Not just some, watered down, crappy version like, oh, spirit is energy, soul is information. Yeah, that's very, very lower way to talk about it. Anyway, so just wanted to say that, the organic portals, they don't seem to be able to sense anything like this. And hey, can you guys leave a comment if you're like me and you can literally sense these, like, bacterial colonies in your body? Can you sense fleas communicating? Because they like squeal out to each other. They're screaming out to each other in these really high pitches. And they're barely sensible, I was going to say. You can barely sense it. Very subtle. Here, I'll lead you into this, how to get into this. Well, think about when you do Kundalini, which is 4th dimensional. Chi is 5th dimensional, and we can go on, Dicha and all that, and Prana, 10D. But my point is, when you do Kundalini, you feel it, because, Prana is way more subtle even than Chi and then Kundalini. But even Kundalini, and that's, I think, the perfect example, because like almost every single one of you have done Kundalini for sure, because it's the 4th dimensional, it's the initial awakening. You're turning on your emotional body and empathy and all that. It makes the vagus nerve sort of switch on and all this business. So my point is, that's the way that you can see if you are an organic portal. Do some Kundalini. Is it just a concept, or do you feel it? Now do you understand those 2 videos I made about, you need to feel? Feeling is your guidance. Organic portals don't feel. They're senseless bastards. Anyway, I hope you've connected all this, and this is just another way to discern who's an organic portal in your life. Benjamin Cowenberg, consciousazine.net. Leave a like if I, gave you an epiphany. Takes you 1 second to press the like button. Thanks, guys.